to Adam.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, my name's Adam, and I work for the Raspberry Pi Foundation. And what I do is I coordinate the code clubs in Wales. Does everybody know what Raspberry Pi is? Everybody know what code club is? Okay, well, we'll explain what that is now. Okay. Oh.
Nope.
There we go. That was. There, you can go home now. Let's try again. We've got a sticky space bar. There we go. I'll use the mouse button. Yeah, so my name's Adam Williams. I'm the regional coordinator for Wales. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what Code Club. It's a worldwide network of volunteers and educators who run free coding clubs for children. Okay, I don't know if you're aware, but there's been lots of changes, especially here in the UK, with curriculums, and they're all doing it differently. Scotland's doing it differently to England, Wales is doing it different to them, Northern Ireland is doing it to different places and things like that. But the core aim, the fundamental aim, is to give children that coding experience, moving away from IT, moving away from using Microsoft Office, even though that will still be included, but giving the background about how computer code works, concepts around computational thinking, and also just being creative with it, having fun with it, to bring them in, to engage them a little bit more and to get them thinking in that sense. What's going on there? So what we do, okay, so we aim to inspire the next generation to get excited about computer science, creativity and digital making. I know some of you here already do it, already run code clubs, already work with Raspberry Pi, always do Raspberry Pi foundations. So that's what we want to build capacity, and we want to build capacity in Wales as well, to give young children in Wales, again, access and opportunity to do it. That's the core fundamental aim of it. It's access and opportunity to get involved and to engage, so nobody gets left behind. Everybody has a chance to have a go and learn something. Okay, we have clubs all over the world. We have about 10,000 clubs throughout the world, and we have about 300 here in Wales already. Clubs can run in all sorts of places and venues. They're not just in schools, they happen in libraries, community centres, any sort of community space that can get involved. Anywhere that you have access to the internet, you can run a code club. Our resources are minimal, so we create maximum accessibility for children and young people to get involved. Okay, so here's a sort of map of where we are in the UK at the moment. Okay, so I'll quickly tell you is how a code club works, and this is the recipe. So you have a teacher and or a volunteer. Does anybody understand the concept of volunteering and what it means to volunteer within a code club? In that sense, it's not just that thing the job centre makes you do when you haven't got a job. It's more of a social contract as such. So you can work with a teacher as such to do that. You have a venue, you have the projects which we provide. We provide all the resources for you, and a load of kids who want to learn. And then that's how you start up a code club. Everything is accessible from our website. So we have a range of projects on our website, we have a range of resources for you, and we also have a lot of support. We have community managers, we have volunteers, and we have coordinators like us to offer you support as you go through and you set up the club. So, here you go. That's all right, it's all good. So, around half of our clubs are led by teachers. So that means teachers just go in and run the clubs themselves. Maybe they do it after school, maybe they do it in lunch times. Maybe some of them do it in class as well. With the changes in the curriculum, which I'll talk about a little bit later, running code clubs are great CPD for teachers as well, to learn, because curriculums are changing and they don't necessarily have the skills to be able to deliver that curriculum. So delivering a code club can help them, and also getting volunteer support from members of the sector within the industry as well to support them with these concepts and ideas as well. So that's why we aim to sort of team people up, team teachers up with volunteers, schools, libraries with volunteers, with people working in the sector for that extra bit of encouragement and support to help break down those barriers. Okay, I'll briefly talk about the materials we provide. We'll go into a little bit more detail about them in a second. And basically the children learn to create games and animations and websites, and everything is interactive, everything is creative, so they get to play with what they've made from the scratch. They get to change what they've made. They get to think about how they could make it better. They get to think about how they could improve it as well. That's something we encourage. We also encourage collaboration amongst the children as well, peer mentoring, so they can support each other to develop their skill sets. These are core principles of what we do in code clubs as well. Okay. Okay, so here's a quote from a teacher who, I know in England the curriculum went out, and it was probably, it was before ours hadn't even gone out with the new computer science curriculum. And I know, we've had lots of feedback from teachers in England that have said code clubs have helped them a lot in the classroom, helping the children with the new curriculum properties there. So, next one. So what do they learn at Code Club? We have Scratch. Does anybody know what Scratch is? I know the Code Club guys know what Scratch is. Does anybody? Yeah, it's a graphical user interface. You use coding blocks. It's a bit like Lego. It's great fun. You can do so much with it. It's really powerful. You can use it in the browser, or you can download the app to your system. So it's really flexible, really accessible in that. But you can instill some really good challenges for the children throughout the projects. We do HTML, CSS. Everybody know okay with that? That's website stuff. The web, and then Python again, which is a really powerful and supposedly easy to learn language, as I'm trying to do. But there, so we have about 72 projects in all. I say they all range from animations, games, and websites, and they're highly creative. So what do they learn at Code Club? Key programming concepts. So we're talking about computational thinking, and I know computational thinking has, some of you guys probably know a lot more about it than me, but there are a few versions of it. There are a few definitions of it from different people, but it's about creating that mindset within the young people, so the way they approach problems, the way they approach challenges, the way they approach other areas of their life as well, using this skill set, using this mental framework that we're trying to develop with them. Okay, we provide step-by-step instructions. I should just say all our projects are aimed for 9 to 11-year-olds. They will be going up to 13-year-olds soon as well. We're moving into secondary school. But they're aimed at 9 to 11-year-olds, and that's from a numeracy and a literacy point of view. So they can have the worksheets, they can have the workbooks, they can work at it from their own pace. Every child's different, some younger, some older, and there's an average they aim towards 9 to 11-year-olds. And again, it's challenge-based learning. Throughout the projects, there'll be certain stages within the projects where they'll be challenged, and they'll have to think about what they've done as they've gone through the project, how to think about it differently, how to modify it, how to improve it, how to tweak it, how to debug it if there's any problems. Okay. So here's some of the things that they all learn in our program. You see there's a lot of repetition there as well. So the first project, you've got sequencing. I'm sure you all know, you're all aware of what sequencing is. And then project 2, still sequencing, but introduced loops, repetition, and coming in, things like that. And you can see how they increment there. So you can imagine as you go through and you get through the whole 72 projects, there's a lot of learning there going on for the children. And a lot of it is done by stealth. They don't know they're learning it, and that's why we rely on our volunteers and things to explain to them what they're doing, because sometimes they can get it, they can understand it, they can change things, they can manipulate things, but they need that extra little bit of support to get that deeper learning, that deeper understanding of what they're actually doing, what they're engaging with when they're working on the projects. Okay, so free software. I say everything that we do, everything we provide is free. Everything can be done online within a browser. All the Code Club needs is PCs or laptops. Some clubs like to print the projects, but they can all be done online. It's entirely up to the club host, club leaders, and things like that. Think of the environment, just do it online. I know some children, I've seen them are not comfortable switching between tabs all the time, between Scratch. That can be challenging for them, so it's nice for them to have the printed copy out so they can follow it that way. Okay, support. You have a club hub when you're registered online. You get access to all sorts of things, certificates to download, support as well that you get from there. We do events, we do training for volunteers. So we come in, we go through and we get them up to speed. Training for volunteers is not necessarily teaching people how to code, but it's teaching people how to work with groups, how to work with children, and breaking those barriers of confidence. We do get some fantastic, enthusiastic people that are really knowledgeable, really skillful, but they haven't worked with groups before. And that is a challenge in itself if you've never done it before. So we provide support and training to help people with that. Again, online, Twitter is a great CPD tool for anything, I think. If you want to know anything, you can do quick Twitter search and you're going to get pointed in the right direction or to the right person that can help you. Someone will help you. Forums and newsletters, and our community managers are great as well. So once you're logged into the website, you can get in touch with any of us throughout the day. We're not open 24 hours a day, but throughout the day you can pretty much get in touch with us, and somebody will be able to help you and point you in the right direction. So why? It's free, and it's important that it's free. As I say, it's about access. It's about giving every child the opportunity to be able to learn code, not just people that have access to certain resources. So you're looking at diverse communities, you're looking at rural communities where perhaps access to technology isn't as available to as many. So that's why everything is simplified. You need access to the internet and a system that can run, a reasonably new browser to get on with all of our projects. Very flexible, as I said earlier. Some of them run after school, some of them run in libraries, some of them run during school, some of them in lunchtime, some of them on Saturdays. It's very collaborative, it's very community focused. I know lots of clubs have several volunteers and they switch because, like myself, I can't commit to one particular day a week. But working with other people, we can know that the club will always be running the teacher with somebody else, somebody that we work with that can do it. Because consistency is important for children. If it's patchy, if it's stop-starty, then they'll lose motivation and interest very quickly and want to go on to do something else. And also trust with children is important as well. You have to build those relationships up and build the trust. So keeping it consistent is very important. Okay, so it develops skills including creative and logical thinking and collaboration. I know I touched on them a little bit earlier, but these are all important skills that they're going to need in the future and in the workplace as well, increasingly so with the logical and the creative thinking, how to approach problems, how to approach challenges. How do they do it not just by themselves, but how do they do it with other people involved? These are important skills that are embedded within code clubs too. Okay, so I'm just going to play you a short video. Okay, this is a code club in action. It's in a school. It's in a school in Wales, so you can have a quick view. It's only a few minutes long. Just going to play. There we go. We got sound.
Should have.
Oh yeah, you see it.
Volunteers and educators who run free coding clubs for children. Code clubs come in all shapes and sizes. Some are run in libraries or community centres. Many are run in primary schools with the help of local volunteers or by a teacher from the school. We went to a primary school in Wales to see their club and talk to the teacher, Graham Jones.
Welcome to Code Club!
I'm Mr Jones, you're at Bondwine Primary and this is our code club. We set up a code club. The children were very interested in coding and gaming and we wanted to provide them with an opportunity to actually practice those skills and develop them.
The club runs every week after school for 1 hour, with around 20 children attending. The teacher leads the club, and sometimes parents join him to help out.
Being a code club leader has been a huge sort of step in my professional development. I started it 4 years ago. I had no coding experience whatsoever. Over the years I've developed my knowledge of Python, HTML, and you'll learn along with the children that come to the club as well.
The children work in 3 groups, and they all work on different projects including Scratch, Python and HTML. They work independently as the teacher is keen to let the children lead their learning, but he is on hand to help if they get stuck.
When you click that, it's going to hide the ghost. Wait 1 second and move to one of these coordinates. Children get lots out of Code Club. First of all, they enjoy coding. They're excited to come to Code Club each week. They work together brilliantly as teams and they solve lots of problems, because with code you often have to get things wrong and then overcome those problems, and coding really helps build their confidence. The advice I would give to schools or other communities looking at setting up their own Code Club is, first of all, not to panic. There's lots of support out there, lesson plans on Code Club, for example. Enjoy it, and there's loads of support on offer for you.
So basically that just summarised what I just said in a far more entertaining and concise manner. So yes, that's your typical Code Club running a school. So you can see the value that's being added, not just for the children but for the wider community itself. So you're getting parents involved, you're getting teachers involved. You know, it's important with these changes in the curriculum and the work the children are going to be doing in schools. Parents are going to need to understand what they're doing as well. You know, it's fair to say that I think most parents can understand the reading, the writing, the oracy, and the maths concept that the children will be doing. They'll be able to support them with their homework. When it comes to coding, they may struggle, they may challenge. So it's about involving parents and the community involved as well, so then they can understand what their kids are doing, support their kids, and work together with their kids on learning these techniques. Okay, so I'm just going to go back onto the new framework that's going to be coming in Wales. And part of it, the new curriculum, is what we call the Digital Competency Framework, the DCF for short. It's currently being rolled out at the moment. They haven't waterfalled it as such. They haven't just said, here's the new curriculum, go and deliver it. They'll be trialling it out, and it won't be compulsory for schools until 2021. But they've already been working on it. They'll be launching it in September 2018, where they have certain schools, pioneer schools, which will be trialling things and then feeding back to the research teams and the government to see what's working in certain areas and how they can improve it and how they can change it. Okay. But it's one of 3 cross-curricular responsibilities, and it's been broken down into 4 stages, 4 strands of equal importance, and this is what children are going to be learning in the future in Wales, and it's completely embedded into curriculum. Computer science isn't a separate subject. IT isn't a separate subject. It's completely embedded in. They may run them as separate subjects as well, but the object is to embed it into all the activities that they will be doing or try to alongside. So the first one they're going to be learning is citizenship. Okay, so that's identity, image and reputation, and this is increasingly important, especially when being online. Different identities, how they can present themselves online in a safe manner as children, but just as adults as well as growing up, and how these things like social media are going to develop as our children grow up and as they go a little bit older. What's going to happen to these networks, what's going to happen to these ecosystems, what is identity going to mean, and what is citizenship going to mean in the future. We're going to be working with children on this as we develop this. Health and well-being, that's going to be important, especially with digital technology. As a lot of us know, digital technology is coming into our health and our lives, whether it be from something as simple as a Fitbit, GP appointments on apps, things like that, and stuff. So they will be sort of discovering these things, but also their own personal health and well-being as well. Are they engaged online? Is it affecting their health? What activities are they doing? How is it impacting their well-being as individuals and citizens? So that would be important. Digital rights, licensing and ownership. This has been going on for 20 odd years in the digital age. What does it mean So they'll be learning about this. You know, everything from Creative Commons to copyright, all these different concepts, all these different ideologies about ownership, digital rights, licensing. These will be coming through. Online behaviour and cyberbullying, you know, important things for children, so they'll be learning about this, and this will be embedded right throughout the curriculum, so they're constantly aware of it. It's not that thing that's just pushed over to the side every now and again within the classroom. It's going to be fully comprehensive within the programme. Okay, interacting and collaborating, we've talked about that, so communicating. How do you communicate with online, offline, and people collaborating, again, both online, offline. You know, you can see the pattern here. These, you know, as we are in life, you know, it's blurring, the lines blurring between them, between online and offline, and how we interact with the world. So again, this is going to be embedded in the curriculum. Storing and sharing, you know, again, to do with their identities, the things that they have online, their profiles and things like that, things that we do. Producing, so that's creating, planning, sourcing and making and searching, which is more of what we do in the Raspberry Pi Foundation and things like that. We make things, we encourage children to be architects, builders of stuff rather than just consumers of technology. It's important to understand, to know how it works, the things that we use in the technology around us. So getting them involved in making, building, creating, evaluating and improving, understanding what they're doing, looking at it. How can it be done better? Why, you know, why does it have to be this way? Can we look at it in a different way? I think it would be better if we did it this way, and encouraging children to think like that rather than just accepting as a consumer, this is what it is. Very powerful thought processes there, rather than being passive, just taking it all in, looking at it, analysing it, evaluating it, and seeing how it can be improved, and embedding that mindset through the education system as well. And of course, what we talked about, the data and the computational thinking element. And this is what has been defined within the DCF so far of computational thinking: the problem solving and modelling, data and information literacy. So being able to understand information that's passed to them and how to disseminate that and derive meaning from it as well. Instead of just looking at sheets and sheets of figures, say that's data, but what other forms of data? What's the context? What does this mean to me in my actual daily life? Okay, so there we are. So that is, you know, our objectives. Yesterday we launched, the Welsh Government launched a policy that we will be working with them on over the coming years now, and it's called Cracking the Code, and it's to help teachers and children with everything that I just talked about as well, to encourage more schools to take up code clubs, get more children coding and so forth. The policy is called Cracking the Code, and then we'll be working, and it'll be my job now to support teachers and educators, librarians, community practitioners throughout Wales, bring this into their daily practice, understand it, help us improve it as well. So it's going to be that two-way conversation now, and to do that, so hopefully we can give teachers the confidence to go out and do it, give the opportunity and accessibility to children and teachers, librarians and educators, and throughout, and get this. It's a big job, it's a big task to do. Say not everything is for everyone, but the opportunity should be there if they want to do it, if they can do it, and it's to encourage them to do it. Okay. I'm just going to talk about another one of our programs. So I'm going to show you a video of another one of our programs, which is Pioneers. This is by the Raspberry Pi Foundation, and this is for older children. And this is more of an open-ended collaborative project, okay, where it's not guided through workbooks or worksheets. We encourage them to use their imagination and come up with ideas, creative ideas themselves. So I'm just going to play this video. Guess from the last one, the videos are better than me.
Do you like making things? Of course you do. How about taking things apart just so you can see how they work and then putting them all back together again? I know, I'm preaching to the choir here. Have you ever had an idea, a brilliant idea, a phenomenal idea, an idea to rule all other ideas to the end of days and no clue what to do with it? I can tell you, you're not the only one, and this is where Pioneers comes in. The Pioneers Challenge is open to anyone in the UK between the ages of 12 and 15. You can work by yourself or in a team of up to 4 people or less. You will need to find somebody over the age of 18 so they can act as a mentor. Mentors, we don't need you to be techie, we just need you to be there so you can dot the I's and cross the T's, or they're making just awesome stuff. Thanks. We want to create a fun and exciting group of makers such as yourself, build new relationships through interesting ideas, and help you broaden your skills and knowledge by helping each other out. We want to give you the opportunity to take that idea and make it into a real physical life thing. Here's how it works. Every term, the Pioneers team in the Raspberry Pi office are going to make a new challenge, and it's your mission to complete that challenge using tech. Now, tech is a very loose term. You could use LEDs, you could use buttons, you could use capacitive sensing, you could use microprocessor-powered T-Rexes. I didn't have any of those to show you, I'm afraid. Unless, there you go. Oh, there's still nothing there. Whatever you believe to be tech is probably what we'll believe too. We just want to see you make something amazing, awesome, life-changing, innovative, motivating, awe-inspiring, adjectives, and share it with us. And the rules, the rules are... Hold on, give me a sec. Yeah, about the rules, the page you've given me is blank. No, as in like there's nothing on it. It says the rules, but then there's just like a bunch of white space underneath it. No, it's fine. I was confused about why you even gave me a piece of paper. No, yeah, okay, I'll see you later. Bye. Okay, turns out there's no rules. There's no rules. Now, of course, there's going to be a goal that the Pioneer team set that you have to work towards to accomplish, and you don't want to be ripping anybody off. Always credit where credit's due. Other than that, go crazy. Don't go crazy. Don't blow anyone up. Throughout the 10-week process, we want you to be sharing your work and progress on social media using the hashtag #MakeYourIdeas. Talking with others, uploading photos, posting about your project's progress, that is so difficult to say. Posting your project's process photos, oh my gosh. Posting your project's process, progress. Posting your project's progress. Got it. We'll be keeping an eye out for you via Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Smoke Signal, Carrier Pigeon, MySpace, I guess, not MySpace. Great inventors always share what they've made and learned so other people can learn from them. And where better to do that than online, where the world can see it. We also want you to create a video showing off your idea. This video will be your final submission, so don't worry, you don't have to send us anything physical. In the video, we want you to include information such as what you made, why, what went right, what went wrong, and what you would change if you could do it all over again. If it seems a bit overwhelming, don't worry, there's plenty more information about the video specification on the Pioneers website, www.raspberrypi.org/pioneers. You'll also find some great inspirational projects and ideas made by the Raspberry Pi team, along with suggestions of all the other resources that are available to you. So if you're struggling, that is a really good place to start. We're going to be sending out a team starter kit to all competitors with stuff that'll help you get started, hence why it's called a starter kit. Makes sense, right? And at the end of the challenge, we're going to pick projects which we think are awesome and reward them. And they can be awesome for a whole host of reasons. So don't assume that we're going to be picking the team which managed to make a robot shark with laser eyes, although that sounds awesome. I should make that. Anyway, go have a look at the Pioneers website, get your team together, get making. The latest challenge, along with all the necessary dates, are on the website. And if you need us, we're at the end of a hashtag. Good luck everyone, stay creative.
There we go. So as you can see, that's the next stage. If you're looking at progression within the education, I know some of the guys that are running code clubs, perhaps running code clubs for a while, and you've got kids there that are progressing, they've done all the projects and you're looking at things to do. This is another challenge for them to say it's open-ended, no rules, it can be as collaborative. All they need is an adult mentor to support them through it. They have to do the work and you have to support them through it. And it is a challenge based. There are, what I've been told, money can't buy prizes for the winners as they go through from the Raspberry Pi Foundation. But again, it's support and encouraging that collaboration, creative thinking. A theme is given. The current theme is make it outdoors, so that's all you're given. Okay, and then the rest is up to you. Go and make something. It's a big challenge for them. But as I said, if you are running a code club and those kids are getting a bit bored with the projects and they want to move on to the next stage, doing something, this is a good direction for them to go in. Okay, and it keeps them up there. Again, they'll challenge themselves. Anyone who's been to any sort of Raspberry Jam or anything like that, working with a kid, they have the ideas, their imagination is incredible, but then it just comes down to, again, this is all part of the process, and they have to document the process as we do in work and as we do in real life. You have this blue sky thinking, but then you have to really sort of pull it back of what can actually be achieved with what you have, the time and the resources and so forth. So these are good learning stages for them to understand these processes make stuff. It's not just about the final product. It's about the process that you go through doing it. It may not actually work. You know what you intend to do, but it doesn't mean to say it will be a bad project because of the learning outcomes and the learning process. We know this in the adult world in life. You know, we take those in, but it's about teaching the children those skills and how to think like that. I'm just going to tell you about another one. We're working in partnership with the DVLA, and we have been for a while. This is a similar one, a similar challenge, but it's for a different age group, and it has to be in the Scratch programming language. Okay, and the DVLA are putting a call out. This is going out to all schools throughout Wales. Partners are on board: STEM ambassadors, Break, which is like a bicycle safety organisation, the police forces in Wales, Incredible Oceans do lots of ecology things. So there's lots of partners on this, and it is again challenge. Go and make us a game, and they'll give you a list of themes to go through. And again, it's challenges, some great prizes. I think the first prize is £3,000 worth of IT equipment for your school or club. You know, and there's 5. Everyone gets something, and it works the way down as well. So there's going to be a big event in November in Swansea where they're going to bring all the finalists down to Swansea, big televised presentation event as well. But as you see, it's all aimed at just getting people involved into developing and into coding, understanding how this works. The industries are going to work, you know, the jobs in the future, the jobs that they're going to make an event for themselves to get them into their mindset so they can think like that. Okay, that's it. I know there was a lot there. Questions? Go on.
I run a code club at Whitchurch High School, just off the road.
Okay.
And when I first started there, they suddenly brought out these BBC microbits.
Yeah.
It suddenly appeared from nowhere. And I think you've sort of joined together now, haven't you, the code club, Raspberry Pi, Official, and the micro. Because BBC were going to have their own separate strand.
We're not joined with BBC Mike. We do use, you know, there are partnerships in base. We do have microbit projects within Code Club, but we're not partners with BBC as such now.
But you sort of advertise it.
Yeah, you know, it's an open source sort of ethos, isn't it? It's about education and creating that. Yeah, these are great. You know, just because Raspberry Pi doesn't make the components or that particular microprocessor or computer doesn't mean to say that there's no value there. Then we're not going to support it and promote it to get children learning. So yeah,
Okay, that's good.
yeah.
The other question I sort of have is that you mentioned about Scratch and then moving up to maybe Python or HTML. The issue I've had in my club is that as soon as you move to Python, they go, where's the graphics, where's the fun, where's the sort of interactivity?
Yeah.
Has that ever been sort of solved or?
No, not solved. I think it's just, you know, as some kids do, you know, they get into Python. You know, some kids will do it, some won't, and I think that is. Scratch is so good, it's so powerful, especially for their age group, you know, and they can do so much with it. That then go into that text-based language is a challenge for a lot of children. But we try to make our projects, you know, the outcome of the project as fun and as engaging as possible. You know, whether it be a game, things like that, so they get that sense of satisfaction. They can play what they make afterwards. But I don't know what the answer is. There's some other code people who run code. Any ideas?
Tutor would be obviously that's a big one.
Yeah.
For graphics, it's instant graphics.
Yeah.
Another idea, JavaScript, because Unity can either do C# or JavaScript, so you can teach them JavaScript, which is simple-ish,
Yeah.
and then they can make a game.
But do you think jumping from Unity, do you think there needs to be something between Scratch and Unity?
Yeah, maybe give them the
Unity's
file
deep.
with no code, and then they have to code it.
Yeah. I suppose they can look at again. You're looking at that deconstruction element, couldn't you, with Unity as well? I think that could be a worthwhile exercise where something is there that's made, and then they can look at deconstructing it and look at the modules that are used to bring it together as a whole.
Program some of the logic for the game.
Yeah. Changing, tweaking parameters and things like that to get used to the environment and so forth. That's a good idea. Yeah.
So what you program be effectively?
Well, we first moved, so we had the Windows 7 because they're all tied down
Yeah.
at schools. So you had to have a virtual machine, which then caused other IT issues in the school, and the school IT guy was getting a bit upset, I think, with demands. But eventually we used the, what's it called? The
Trinket.
no, I didn't use Trinket.
Trinket I found very good with the kids.
Okay.
It's quite a friendly interface. And
Okay.
it's
I haven't heard of that one.
I look at Trinket.io. It's really quite good.
We used Trinket on all the Code Club. Yeah, we used Trinket on. Yeah.
Because I think this was because we then had the BBC microbits, so we've been using that for the interactive
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
So that's sort of solved the problem away because they've been a bit more sort of engaged.
Yeah.
When we first did the sort of the game show, choose the door, who wins.
Yeah.
They may have changed.
Yeah.
Since
My personal opinion is I think the microbits are great. They're a lot more powerful than what people think. You can do a lot more with them. The fact that they have Bluetooth as well, so they can communicate between. You can set up things that they communicate between each other. But I also think that that great sort of step between perhaps they doing Scratch, and then you can look at the code there, and then getting really into the physical making with a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino or something. That great intermediary step between the two. And again, perhaps tackling that issue of going to text-based, the transition from that text-based, from the graphical based of Scratch through to the text-based.
I don't know what advice you give in code, because when I went to some of the training events, you sort of go and you assume that everyone's at the same level. That you go into this classroom and they'll all be sort of magically sort of know everything at the same time. But of course, there's going to be people who are a bit slower and a bit more advanced who jump straight into them, get their hands dirty. How do you manage that with just one person and a teacher?
Well, there's a lot of autonomy in running code clubs, and people run them differently. It depends on the resources that they have available to them. I think it's like you run together, don't you? Pretty much most of the time.
I started on my own for the first 6 months, and it was quite hard at those points. And then I started. My main was to recruit parents, because parents, because one, I had to limit the space because. Few initial things I can't really mention, but basically just the way it was set up was kind of a bit different. Yeah. And so essentially I couldn't have any more kids in the class, and I had to limit it. So then I had the option of saying to the parents, if you do want to bring a kid here, I do need another volunteer, and for every volunteer I have to bring in, I can add more children to the class. Yeah, yeah. Which is one way I managed to get a lot more. Volunteers really enjoy it as well. Yeah.
We do encourage schools to try and get the parents involved as well. In that volunteer capacity, we're always looking to encourage as many volunteers as possible. And there are challenges with volunteers. Again, you've got logistical challenges. A lot of people, our volunteers like to volunteer somewhere near work or near home. And if you think of the landscape of Wales, that's quite challenging. We encourage. A lot of volunteers sometimes think that they have to be coders, they have to be developers to be able to support, but that may not necessarily be the case. Other skill sets of supporting the teacher or the the technical staff, will be very beneficial. As I say, different groups, different abilities. You've got some more advanced, and you've got some newcomers coming in. Perhaps somebody a volunteer that doesn't have as much coding skills, but has good working with groups, working with children skills, can learn alongside the children and split the groups up, so it's, I say there is a lot of autonomy there, and it's about how you run your code club. But we encourage sharing these sort of challenges and stories and how you overcome them as well.
Okay. No, thanks. It's just my own.
That helps us because we support as much as we can, we give you the resources. But any feedback coming back from you on how yours is going, if something isn't working or something is working that you'd like to share, we do it this way, so we can help. I don't
know if I should carry on, but the other big barrier I had was getting the employer, because I work at the university. Okay. I'm in professional services, so I'm not an academic, I'm a support staff. Yeah. And they didn't see, there's no sort of official way that a staff member can sort of get involved in the community and get time off, because at the Met Office where I worked in Exeter, you had official time where you could have 20 hours a month, 20 hours a month to go out and volunteer. in the university didn't, so I had to convince my manager, and my manager was a bit sort of, why should I let you have 2 hours off work in the community? So it's sort of, if you could put pressure on employers in Wales.
I don't think pressure is the right word, but we do work. We do have partnerships. You know, we do have a lot of support. There's Lloyds Banking Group we work with. You know, as part of their CSR policy, you know, employees, they can go out. DVLA, they do loads of. There are others, and we're constantly working with other organisation companies as well. But ultimately, it's their CSR policy and how it's working for them, really. And you know, we can, you know, we try and influence. We try and say, you know, this long term, could have a positive impact to you. I know with the DVLA, I use this as an example. You know, they're based in Swansea, huge place. Lots. You can imagine the cyber security online, the team that they have to have there, and the skill sets that they need to do. And I know Mark from the DVLA said to me once, you know, he's delivering a code club, he's leaving work early the one day to deliver the code. And he said, you know, if kids come through and through, you know, what he wants to see is one day one of the kids from the code club working in the DVLA, you know, and just to create that cycle, you know, that ecology. So, but yeah, no, we are working with lots of people, and we do try and encourage and influence people to shift their CSR policies in our direction. Yeah. Corporate social responsibility. Yeah. Go on.
You say that COD Club is an international, like worldwide organization, and I wanted to know about always going in France.
Yeah.
Because I'm from France.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know if it's possible to open a COD Club in France, if it's easy.
Yep.
Easier than here.
Yeah. We have COD Club France. We have all our materials translated into French as well. And yeah, you can go in and you can get everything, and yeah, but the set up and established in France as well. So.
And so, what are the requirements? Because my mother is a teacher, and I want to introduce her to COD Club. I think it's interesting, and I wanted to know if she doesn't know anything of IT or of coding, and if she wants to lead the idea of creating a COD Club in her school, is it possible? How can she find some people to learn?
Yeah, we have an international team. Yeah. I'm assuming I don't work in front, but we have COD Club International, which looks after our global team, and then we have individuals in the countries that we're officially set up in 10 countries. France is one of them, but because we're open source, you know, they're all over the place as well, but officially in 10 countries at the moment.
Yeah, so it's not only located in big cities?
No, again, like the UK, it's dispersed, throughout the country. I don't have that information, but COD Club International will be able to provide that, and COD Club France will be able to do that. On Twitter, at COD Club France.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Just have an idea about the Python not graphical thing.
Okay.
Would you be interested in some sort of library for 2D animation that has a similar API to Scratch for Python? So then it would just open a window, maybe probably some back-end C code to then render things, and then they'd be able to put what they've learned from Scratch into Python, and possibly even similar naming, so they don't get confused.
Right, okay, so you can see basically deconstructing the blocks into the Python code from scratch.
Yeah, and then they could at least have something that looks nice, and then use the other advanced features of Python to do more things.
I know the microbits interface does that, doesn't it? It's just it's not Python though. It's just
C.
Yeah. But yeah, I suppose that could be something for the Scratch team going forward. Again, they're always open for suggestions, I think, to look into doing things like that. So, and they're constantly developing Scratch. You know, they're bringing new versions out, things like that. So, I think that would be great. Again, it is that again, deconstructors look at, you know, that it's fine bringing the blocks across, and it's good for that age group to understand the concepts of it. As I said, if they want to go deep, you know, just break that box up and look at the raw code.
Yeah, well, it'd certainly be a project I'd be interested in working on.
Okay.
Who would I be should get in contact with?
Scratch.
Scratch. Okay.
Yeah. they'd probably be the best people to speak to.
Yeah, there's a few approaches you get because there's things like Broccoli, Google developed. It gives you a Scratch-like interface, but you can then tell it what those blocks translate to as code, and it can be any language. So you can replicate the features and generate Python.
I was thinking more at Python code, but there's a module that then has functions that do similar things that you get in Scratch. So they actually have to write Python code, but then they get the reward of a nice animation or something.
Yeah, because there's things like PyGame for Python.
Yeah.
But that's still a bit low level.
That is low level, but probably something built on top of that, like another abstraction layer.
There's something, on the Raspberry Pi itself, there's been like a load of APIs come along, things like GPIO 0.
Yeah, that's the one I use.
And there's excellent, and there's GUI 0 now as well. And things like Blue Dot, which aim to say, we'll take away all the boilerplate and you just focus on the action you want to do. And I think that's very intuitive for people to get into the environment. So you say it's quick. There's all this support for physical computing, but maybe less so for actually doing something graphical.
Yeah, because there's also this thing Greenfoot, I don't know if you've heard of it, which is Java based, where it gives you a lot of the code already, and then you can just like add sprites and you can add Java functions to those classes, and then all the information is contained somewhere else that so you can't break it. So it's thinking like you create a world which is a Python object, then you can create sprites which are just images, so there's the same things as Scratch, but you don't get a nice editor. And then you add those to the world, and then you can tell them to turn or move or something.
I think it's also packaging like resources, because the thing with Scratch, from what I've seen, out of the box you've got like standard elements, so you can get graphics there, then and there that you can use. Whereas if you, as a programmer, I think I always got to the point I can write the code, but then I can't draw.
Well, if Scratch were interested, maybe we could get all that libraries and
reuse the graphics.
Reuse the graphics, from scratch. So then it does look similar. They get the same cast or something, but maybe we could change it to something else because it's Python.
Well, I think somebody mentioned as well, but there's a Turtle library, isn't there?
There is Turtle. I think it's a Code Club thing, isn't it?
What's that now?
There's a Code Club project for doing Turtle graphics.
So
you can start with simple tasks so that you're using the same basic concepts you learned from scratch.
Yeah.
And you're writing
so
code.
Because with Python as well, maybe make it move forward 10 steps, so that's easy. You have the world and then you have the sprite. And then you say sprite.move 10.
Trinket does have a block to get there.
There you go, there's Trinket.
Yeah. It does have that in place. It has one of the turtle exercises now, it's quite nice. Trinket's brilliant.
So the Raspberry Pi Foundation actually did this one at the Family Fun Day in Cardiff last year.
Yeah.
As part of their Code Club strand. But that's just Turtle graphics underneath.
Yeah.
Or just draw, line, change the icon.
Yeah, it depends on you can have a load of tasks. I went to a course where we were drawing snowflakes, just to introduce nested loops, I think, really. We went outside when I got partial code, and it's been quite fun a couple of days going, what was in there? Trying to steer this thing and draw snowflake.
Ah, actually looks quite nicely made.
Yeah. As you can see, this is typical of one of our projects as you go through, so it's easily laid out, it's easy to follow. It is very much step by step.
I think that's what is important, isn't it? I mean, probably preaching to the voice, I'm sure, but I started looking at Sonic Pi.
Yeah.
And it's all very often to go, here's our code to the roadmap, so, does all sorts of things, and you go, but I need to, now I want to do it. Start looking at Ruby code and go, no, okay. And then go back to 4 notes in the loop. So I think it's important, as you said, to have the steps there, so when they go, how does this work? You can actually look at it step by step, and then they can actually very quickly start to understand and produce
stuff.
Even if it's only tweaking it.
And again, you get to a certain thing, there's a challenge. More lines, add more lines. So it seems simple to us, but for a child, for a 9-year-old, just to think about that in a different way, the way I suppose their cognitive development you know, to start thinking in this way at that age.
And just to gain confidence in saying, here are the concepts of sequences, loops, and you know, forks, and to go across the concept that you can code that in different ways. So when people say, you know, early on, so people don't go, I can code in whatever, Python, but now this looks totally alien, this other thing, just to go, oh, hang on a minute, it's the same principle I'm doing, how do I do it in this language?
Yeah.
But to me, I mean, I haven't looked at really, I have a long time ago, but I haven't looked at recently definitions of computational thinking, but to me it's saying to somebody, you know, if you're looking for a solution, you need to understand what the language or the computer or the robot can actually do, so that you can structure your solution to those abilities. And this kind of thing is saying, oh, this is how you get, you know, quickly getting those ideas, this is how you get a language to do X, Y, Z tasks. So yeah, this is all stuff to me.
You've got an education, more question, less technical?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So about the so teaching the teachers then. Yeah. So you mentioned embedding it into all teaching, essentially. Yeah, embedding the the techie stuff.
Not embedding the techie stuff as such, but in embedding the mindset to think about things in that sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not so much sort of making a computer game during a physics lesson then.
Well, no, that could be part of it. That could be part of it. Yeah.
So going down that sort of route, I'm thinking then that means there's more teachers. All the teachers would need some training then to get them on board or up to scratch. Yeah. With the techie side of things, not just the IT teachers.
No, not just the IT teachers, but
so they kind of all need that. So it's quite a big thing, I'm thinking, to get all these teachers. It is. There's no doubt about it. It's get
teacher training days, I guess.
It's you know, running code clubs themselves. You know, each school will do it differently. They'll have their own needs, their own resources that they'll do it, I should imagine. But yeah, it is just, you know, getting the ideas. Sometimes it needs to, you know, just say, you know, in the physics class, you know, if there's something in physics that, you know, is trying to understand, let's make a game of it. It doesn't have to be a game on the computer. It could be a logical game made with cardboard, but it's, you know, it's
okay. So it's more about a wider thing.
A wider thing, yeah.
I think there's a lot to them without going into without having to have lots of technical knowledge. I'm a lapsed programmer, you know, it could have been carried on 20 years ago. But I understand, while I'm not a coder, I understand enough of all the principles so that I was able to explain to my children as we start the code club, just some various basic principles, just like the idea of the difference between a dumb computer and a human, and, you know, just the whole brushing teeth example. Where, you know, I can tell you to go up and brush your teeth. If I told the computer, I'd have to tell it every little step. And then, but a lot of people that wouldn't have the knowledge to even just express that idea. And that helped them a lot, I think, in understanding. But then once it's done, of course, you can then do it millions of times really quickly. But I think once a lot of teachers have that in their vocabulary, then that's all they need to kind of just get those ideas across.
It's not quite the same thing, but like when I was at school, when you needed to do A-level maths to do A-level physics, maths was a tool for the physics, and it's not quite the same thing. But if you've got, I mean, back then I was trying to write programs to plot the paths of the trajectories of projectiles. So it will become a thing where, very powerfully, where the physics teacher go, well, I can now, we can go into some physical aspects and graphically represent it or whatever, it becomes a part of that subject.
Are the code club going to be running the same the ran in England where they pair people up with teaching or teach at schools? I think they did that in England about a year ago.
Not that I'm aware of.
Wasn't a code club itself, but more.
The way I've been doing it so far, with regards to training, is I do run training sessions with volunteers and educators and library staff that anybody wants to come along to do it. And it is very much an introductory, just like what Sharif just said there. We'll look at basic algorithms and things like that. And it's about there's a capacity issue. Of course, there's a capacity issue and support issue, but it's about pointing them in the right direction and letting them know that there's something. Go and work with that at the moment. We're here if you need some extra support, and we'll hopefully, if not, reach out to the community. They can support you as well. But we will, and I'll continue to do, where the demand is and the capacity is, to go out and do training with teachers, librarians, any sort of community worker that's setting up clubs.
The one thing that I was reading about was when the curriculum was launched in England, there was a bit of lack of training involved or something.
That's where I've read that as well. Yeah.
Was it 2 hours they got installed or something?
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if you can answer this one, but it's an issue that I've encountered. If you are, whatever, I'm an ops program as well, I guess. I'm available, but I'm not associated with a school or a library. So, being a resource, but then actually trying to approach somewhere to actually be involved with a code club. I know there are some code clubs now, I forget what the name is, but who encourage people to sort of go along for a taster if they want to start their own code club.
Yeah, we have star clubs at the moment, which are clubs that welcome people to come in and have a look. If they, just go in and, see how it works, see how it runs. Because confidence is a big issue as well. I'd say work, not just the technical side of it, they're working with groups. If you've never worked with groups of children before, that can be challenging. I think, it's something new. We all face these things, every day in our lives. So these star clubs are set up so you can go in and, they'll show you the ropes and get you used to these different dynamics that you'll be working with that perhaps you're not used to. So yeah, there are those possibilities there as well. The other thing we say to do is just, if you can, is do it as a group. It doesn't have to be one volunteer per club. A group of you could go in and do it and support each other to do it through that process as well. So that say as I said in this, but it's very flexible. There is a lot of autonomy with code clubs. People run them differently to suit their needs and their resources. But where our aim is to provide, good resources, good quality resources for them to go and use, feed back to us how it's doing, how it's working. But with regard, if you're looking for a club, so you just go onto our website, Code Club, and you can sign up and register. You can look at clubs in your area. You can get in touch with them via our interface. You get routes to DBS checks if you need a DBS check doing. All via the hub, when you're logged in. So there's been a lot of emphasis on user experience when you're in Code Club, when you're logged on the site.
So there's a route to registering with the hub without being a teacher or a librarian.
I didn't appreciate myself. I was only going along to the Code Club as a parent, and as a parent I was going to happy to stay anyway. I ended up being dragged into it, which is fine. But I didn't appreciate that to be a volunteer at the club, that it was okay to not have knowledge or experience, and then having gone through the registration process, you're able to advertise yourself basically. Mark yourself as available. And then clubs might jump on. You might get 5 local.
And there's online training as well that you go through, for safeguarding, things like that, and say introduction to the basics of algorithms, patterns, loops, all these things that you can go and do. To get an extra little bit of online support as well.
I just approached my local library.
Lots of people do. They'll walk into a library or a school and say, my kid comes here, I want to start a code club here.
My local library's been very, very successful. Two different clubs on 2 different days. So.
How do you become a star club? Exactly.
There is a process. I can email you the details if you want. It involves me coming to visit.
Cool.
Which I like to do anyway.
We're currently running the DVLA. We started that on Saturday. That access to the themes.
Oh, you've started that, have you?
Yeah, well, I found it on the web links.
Yeah, good. Yeah. So but there's a process. One is you have to be using Code Club projects, and it has to be active, and engaged with the children on a regular basis, things like that. So. Yeah, but there is a process, but I'll have a chat with you about good stuff,
Did you say that Code Club is in 10 countries?
10 countries, yeah.
Is it just Europe or?
No, it's all over the world. All over the world. Australia, I'm just picking them out the air now. I don't think it's Australia, we've got Bangladesh, we've got Brazil, Croatia, all over the place, all over the place. They're the official ones that we officially support. We work with non-profits and NGOs in these countries to set them up and to manage them so we can provide the support that's needed. but all of our stuff is pretty much open source, so you know it's probably being used everywhere. So
yeah, because I'm from Uganda myself originally, so I just wanted to know whether if I go to the training, or probably I could also start, you know, like a code club down there.
Yeah, you can start wherever you want. Yeah. Cool. Anything else?
So maybe one thing relatively recent was another Raspberry Pi Foundation joined Coder Dojo.
Yeah.
Where does that sit in all of this? Because I know Coder Dojo is sort of a similar idea to Code Club, but a bit different. But I don't. How does it fit into all the mix of it?
With regards to the merger, it's very new, and I don't have many details, I'm afraid, you know, what's going to happen. But I think it's a good thing. I think it's a really positive thing. They work a little bit differently. I say they're more open-ended. They don't have the detailed projects that we do, but they do great stuff. Again, all over the world. They have a different approach. But yeah, I say I don't have the details yet. It's all very, very new and shiny. But I do think it's a good thing. And it's that collaboration element of saying, oh, that's how you do it. So how can we, you know, as if you think of when the Raspberry Pi Foundation and Code Club merged, and this, you know, and how that's only been 18 months, you know, so that's being developed, you know, in real terms. Two large sort of global initiatives like that merging together is going to take time. And again, now with this, with Code Dojo, it's going to take time to see where it all fits in. But it's, I think it's a good thing. Again, it's just pooling the resources and getting as many. It is, you know, I'd probably say the ideal thing is to create as much access all over the world as possible for kids to get involved with learning how to code, you know, and if you can do that collaboratively and provide more opportunities, I think that's only a good thing. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Thanks.
Thanks for coming along.